Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Shawn Walchef. This is a CaliBBQMedia production. We are coming to you from the JW Marriott in Austin, Texas, Restaurant Transformation Festival, hosted by Restaurant 365. I've got an awesome guest. They brought over Massimo. They saved the best for last.
Well, we'll see about that, Shawn. Yeah.
Well, they have high hopes for you bringing what we believe on this show, which is digital hospitality. So much of what we do in the restaurants on a day-to-day basis is taking care of people.
That's right.
What we believe on this show, why we partner with Restaurant 365, why we're excited to talk to you, is that technology allows us to do our in real life jobs better. Tell me about Paris Baguette. Tell me about the brand. What are you guys doing? What are you building? And then we'll get in a little bit to your story.
Sure. I'll tell you a little bit about Paris Baguette. Brand itself started in Korea in the late 80s. It's actually a brand that's got global presence. There's about 4,000 globally. But here in the U.S., they broke ground here in the late 80s and opened a few locations and had modest success. But more recently, in the last 4 years, they've kind of brought on a U.S. leadership team and really have focused on wanting to fill the gap in the bakery cafe space in the U.S. We feel we are pretty well positioned there, as bigger brands like Panera and Au Bon Pain, who used to fill that space, have geared more towards an eatery. So, we focus on primarily pastries, cakes, and breads. And right now we've got about 140 locations in the U.S., just penetrated Canada.
140 at how many years?
So let's say technically the first one opened in 87.
Okay.
They had about, I would say 40 up until 2019.
Wow.
So since 2019,
explosive growth.
We're
Through
almost 100 locations.
Growth.
We did grow through the pandemic. We actually did open
growth.
a few locations, closed a few too,
Yeah.
but primarily open. But have a pretty aggressive growth plan for the Americas. The plan is to try to get to 1,000 locations, bakery cafes in the Americas by 2030.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible. I'm a huge fan of the brand. We have one actually in Eastlake, Chula Vista in San Diego. It's always busy and it's always top-notch quality is one of the things that impresses me the most.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Even from the the strategic pillars from Korea. I mean, part of what has made that brand successful is the intense attention to quality and product. And that's not changed or wavered coming over the U.S. too. That is one of our, strategic growth pillars is quality, and then innovation is another one. But, that's a challenge when you grow, of course, right? We are, growing as a franchise organization. So we've spent a lot of resources, time, and money making sure that as we grow and as we onboard franchisees, that we are maintaining that product quality across them. So I'm glad that you see that.
Yeah, it's beyond impressive as someone in the restaurant space. I mean, we're in the barbecue business, but when I go and I grew up. Actually, there was a French pastry in La Jolla where I grew up, where my grandfather was Bulgarian, my grandmother was Japanese, but they always cared about baguettes and croissants, and I've never been able to find anything resembling until I found Paris Baguette, until I found your brand.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It's unbelievable, the attention to detail, because I've also been to France and I've tasted the quality there, and to see that you guys have been able to replicate that in my own